There's something I've noticed about life after 60. It's not just about the years we've lived, but the weight we sometimes carry from them. Have you ever found yourself lying awake at night, replaying old mistakes in your mind, wishing you'd said something different, made another choice, or taken a path that now feels like it would have made all the difference? If so, you're not alone. Regret has a way of lingering, especially as we get older and reflect on the roads we've traveled. But here's the thing. Holding on to those regrets, punishing yourself for things you can't change, doesn't rewrite the past. It only dims the present. And after 60, you deserve more than that. You deserve to live freely, lightly, and with the kind of peace that comes from letting go. That's why today, we're talking about forgiveness, not for anyone else, but for you. Because the truth is, forgiving yourself might just be the most powerful gift you can give yourself in this chapter of life. So, let's explore 5 reasons why it's time to release those old regrets and step into the freedom you've earned. First, you did the best you could with what you knew at the time. Think back to one of those moments that still tugs at you. Maybe it was a decision about your career, your family, or even a relationship that didn't turn out the way you'd hoped. Now here's a question. Did you know then what you know now? Of course not. Life doesn't come with a roadmap. Every choice you made was based on the wisdom, the emotions, and the circumstances you had in that moment. You weren't the same person you are today. You were learning, growing, and doing your best with the tools you had. Hindsight is a funny thing. It makes everything seem clear, but it's not fair to judge your past self by the standards of your present wisdom. So instead of thinking, I should have known better, try this. I did the best I could with what I knew. That simple shift can lift so much weight off your shoulders. Second, holding on to regret robs you of the joy in front of you. Imagine carrying a heavy suitcase everywhere you go. At first, you might manage, but after a while, it wears you down. Regret is like that suitcase. It takes up space in your heart and mind, leaving less room for the good things right in front of you. The laughter of grandchildren, the quiet beauty of a sunrise, the small pleasures of a day well lived. These are the moments that make life rich. But when we're stuck in the past, we miss them. I once heard a beautiful saying. Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could have been any different. It's not about pretending mistakes didn't happen. It's about choosing not to let them define your present. Because the truth is, the past is gone, but today is still yours. And it's filled with possibilities waiting to be embraced. Now, as we start to see how freeing self-forgiveness can be, let's take it a step further. Because there's another reason to let go of regret, and it has everything to do with the legacy you're creating. Not just for yourself, but for those who look up to you. One of the most beautiful things about life after 60 is the way our experiences ripple outward, touching the lives of our children, grandchildren, and even friends who look to us for wisdom. And that brings me to the third reason to forgive yourself. Third, your mistakes taught you lessons that shaped who you are today. Think about the person you've become over the years, the patience you've learned, the kindness you extend to others, the way you navigate challenges with a little more grace than you might have decades ago. None of that came from getting everything right. It came from stumbling, learning, and growing. Those so-called mistakes you've been carrying, they weren't failures. They were lessons. Imagine if someone you loved, a child or a dear friend, came to you weighed down by regret. You wouldn't want them to punish themselves forever, would you? You'd tell them. That's how you learned. That's how you grew. Well, why not offer yourself that same kindness? The wisdom you have now, the very wisdom others admire in you, exists because of the journey, not in spite of it. Fourth, forgiveness sets you free to write new stories. There's a quote I love by Maya Angelou. You can't use up creativity. The more you use, the more you have. And I think the same is true for second chances. Just because one chapter didn't go as planned doesn't mean the next one can't be beautiful. But here's the catch. You can't start a new chapter if you keep rereading the old one. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, Linda, spent years regretting that she never pursued her love of painting. She'd say, I should have started when I was younger. It's too late now. Then one day, her grandson left a set of watercolors at her house. On a whim, she tried them. And guess what? She didn't turn into Picasso overnight, but she discovered joy in the process. Now, at 72, she takes classes at the community center and even sells a few pieces. That never would have happened if she'd let regret have the final say. What's your version of that? Maybe it's reconnecting with someone you drifted from, finally taking that trip you've postponed, or simply allowing yourself to enjoy life without the shadow of what if. The moment you forgive yourself is the moment you give yourself permission to begin again. And that leads us to the fifth and final reason, one that might just be the most profound of all. There's something truly liberating about reaching a stage in life where you realize you don't have to prove anything to anyone, not even to yourself. And that brings me to the fifth and most powerful reason to forgive yourself after 60. Fifth, because you deserve peace, just as you are. Let's be honest, no one gets through decades of living without a few scars. But here's what I've come to understand. Those scars aren't signs of failure. They're proof you showed up for life, even when it was hard. Every wrinkle, every memory that makes you cringe or smile, they're all part of a story that's uniquely yours. And that story deserves to be held with tenderness, not criticism. Think about how you treat a dear old friend who shared their regrets with you. You wouldn't list their mistakes back to them. You'd probably say, after all you've been through, isn't it time to be gentle with yourself? Well, my friend, that's the same kindness you owe yourself. Peace isn't something you earn by being perfect. It's what you claim when you finally decide you're worthy of it, exactly as you are. So where do you start? Try this. The next time an old regret surfaces, pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, does holding on to this help me or hurt me? If it's the latter, imagine placing that regret in a balloon and letting it drift away. Or if you're more practical, write it down and then tear it up. The method doesn't matter as much as the intention, to release what no longer serves you. As we wrap up, let me leave you with this thought. The past is a place to visit, not a place to live. Every day, you have the chance to wake up and say, today, I choose freedom. Freedom from the weight of should-haves. Freedom to savor the small, beautiful moments that make life rich. Freedom to step into whatever comes next with an open heart. I'd love to hear from you. What's one regret you're ready to release? Share it in the comments below. Sometimes just saying it out loud takes away its power. And if this resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more conversations like this. Because life after 60 isn't about looking back with regret. It's about moving forward with grace, wisdom, and the quiet joy of knowing you're exactly where you're meant to be. Here's to your freedom, your peace, and the beautiful days ahead. Until next time, remember, you've earned this lightness. Let it in.